Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special, awesome video in my series of drawing my obsessions. In my last video, I mainly talked about like Pokemon, and Pokemon is very much so still one of my biggest obsessions right now. But I've had a recent development, guys. I have unlocked a new obsession, and I feel like it's not like that uncommon, but for me, it's like a shocker. It's this little tiny little show that you probably haven't heard about. Like, it's not really that popular. It's just called like Percy Jackson and the Olympians or something. Calling this show popular would be an understatement. I think that this show is basically exploded in popularity, and for good reason. Percy Jackson is a very, very, very well-known book series and has like a lot of fans. So like it already kind of had an established fan base, but then when the Disney Plus show came out, so many new people like myself saw it and was like, I've never read Percy Jackson. I don't really know much about it other than seeing the movie in like 2012 in a hotel room. I'm just gonna give this series a little watch just to see if I like it or not. And guys, I have never read Percy Jackson. I have no prior attachment, emotional investment in this story or characters, but it's so good. This drawing that you see me drawing right now, I drew after watching episodes 1, 2, and 3. And I was like, I need to draw the main trio because they're so good. Like, I do want to say that my favorite character out of the main trio and just the show in general is Grover. I think I see myself in Grover the most, probably, and I just think he's funny and he's my favorite. But I think my favorite dynamic between the characters in the show is Percy and Annabeth's dynamic. I think they're the funnest to watch banter back and forth. So yeah, also Percy is so fun to draw. Percy's hair, I'm gonna rant about it later because like this is only one drawing. Oh, by the way, this is a design that's on my Redbubble, so if you like this design, please go buy it. This next drawing is actually a redraw of a scene, and like, okay, if you are part of the Percy Jackson fandom, if you are online at all, you have seen the countless edits of them on my feed, and I know you've seen them too. I know you've seen them. They're everywhere. And like one of the scenes that I always see edits of is when Annabeth is tying the necklace around Percy's neck. What am I even saying? She's tying the necklace around his neck, and he's just like gazing at her. And like that scene has like so many edits, and I see it so much, and I thought that's a very pretty scene. Like, and it's also very cool, and I like it a lot. So I'm just gonna like redraw the scene. So I sketched this out in the middle of the night, literally. And the next day, oh, I also want to mention that over on the next page, I drew a little doodle of Princess Daisy because I love Princess Daisy so much, guys. I love her so much. And then the next day, I took that sketch and I added watercolor to it because I think, again, I really like that scene, but I also like the lighting and the atmosphere of the scene, and also like the emotional closeness and sweetness of it. So I kind of wanted to portray that in the coloring. Oh my gosh, I didn't say, if you haven't seen Percy Jackson and the Olympians, stop watching because this has spoilers. I mean, unless you don't ever plan on watching it, but then why are you watching this video? I don't get it. I mean, if you like me, that's cool, but I recommend checking out the show first, watching the entirety of it, because I am drawing stuff that's spread across the entire series, so please go watch it, because I am going to be talking about it. So yeah, so this is the drawing that kind of made me realize that I unintentionally had the ability of drawing Percy in a not realistic style, but it's still looking like Percy looks like the actor. And I was like, oh my word, since when have I ever had this skill? Since when could I draw stylized and it still looked like the person I'm trying to draw? So like, I like showed my friend and I was like, can you tell who this is? And she was like, that's Percy Jackson. And I was like, yes! People could tell who it is! I was like so like happy and like proud of myself. And I think I mainly gained that ability from doing, number one, just a lot of facial studies, a lot of like realism studies, but then also like learning to also apply stylization, which is the main reason as to why a lot of artists do life studies, is to improve their stylization. And I didn't realize that being able to draw stylized while still capturing someone's features and like likeness is a skill that I would gain from doing those studies. And like, again, I haven't like practiced this too much, but like every time I've drawn Percy or Annabeth in a stylized way, to me it still kind of looks like the reference that I'm using, even though it's not realism. So I don't know, guys. I just wanted to talk about that because that was like, it like blew my mind. I blew my own mind when I drew this watercolor piece. Also, guys, this watercolor piece, like I feel like lately my watercolor game has kind of been off, but like this drawing made me re-enter my watercolor era. Like, give me them paintbrushes right now. I am ready to do more watercolor. I don't know. I think it's a cute page, and I wrote on the page what Annabeth says to him. So, yeah. Okay, guys. It's another scene from an edit. It's not from an edit, it's from the show. But it's a scene from the show that I see countless edits of, and it's yet again a moment where Percy's gazing at Annabeth, where they help each other stand up after, well, she helps him stand up after he like throws the pearl down, and he like appears back on the beach, and he's like gonna fight Ares. And like Annabeth like helps him up, and he just like gazes at her again. And like that's also like a huge like edit clip, like a scene from the show that I see so very many edits of. I cannot stress this enough. That is like why I started watching the show, because I had no emotional attachment to Percy Jackson because I hadn't read the books. But just the amount of immediate online presence the show had made me go and check it out, and I watched, and then after that I continued to watch them every week as the episodes came out. So yeah, shout out to the edits, I guess. Like, I also, guys, I started reading the books now because I was like, man, I should read them because I like this story and I like these characters. I should read the books, which is so cool because I feel like usually people my age have already read all the books, and now I'm like kind of late to the party because like all of my friends are like, yeah, I read all the books like 7 years ago, and I'm like, oh, I haven't. So now I'm just like catching up. So like, hopefully by the time season 2 comes out, I will have read enough books to like be like, I know what's happening. Yeah, and then there's the finished doodle. I didn't add anything to it, I just left it as a pen drawing. I like Percy in this one a lot. Like I said, drawing Percy is actually really fun. I love drawing Percy's just big, floofy, curly hair. It's so fun. And then, okay guys, another scene from the show that gets edited a lot. And that's the scene, I think it's episode 4, I think. It's where they're getting Ares' shield, and Percy has to sit in like the seat thing, and he turns into gold. And like, there's the part where he's like, can you do something for me? And she's like, oh, I'll make sure to get your mom. I'm not gonna leave the underworld without your mom. And he's like, oh, thanks. I actually was gonna say, like, after this quest, could you come and get me out of this thing? And she was like, you think you had to ask? And he was just like, just making sure. And he's like crying because he like is nervous, but he knows that that's what he has to do. And like the whole scene, he's like, I'm okay, even though he's like not okay. And he's like crying and he wants to stand up, but he knows he can't. Dude, I love that sequence. That sequence is so good. And like I kind of want to do like a drawing of like his face when he turns gold. Oh, okay, right now in the footage there's gonna be a short clip of myself, so I'm gonna stop talking.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing, kitty? What are you doing? Marmot. Kitty. No, don't stick your butt in the camera. That's so unprofessional. Come here. You're gonna knock over the camera. Listen, I'm glad that you love me, but you're getting in the way.
Okay, and now we are back to drawing. That was so funny, haha. My cat just totally jumped onto my desk and was like, oh my word, you're drawing. Don't draw, pay attention to me. Anyways, I think the coloring on the two faces and like stuff, I really liked, especially. I really liked the shading on Percy. I probably could have pushed like the shadows more on his left side of his face. And I also think the like shading of his hair, it doesn't make the most sense, but I like the colors of it, so that's a good thing. And then I was debating whether or not to add like the background, because I didn't like it as just white, but I didn't know how like the dark colors would necessarily look up against the characters, so I decided to just like go for it. And I do think I like it better than the white, but I don't know if I should have tried doing something else for the background, like maybe like a watercolor wash would have looked better. But overall, I like this little like comic redraw of the scene, and I think it's so cute. And I like how I just feel like, especially the one of Annabeth in this drawing looks like her. The Percy one looks like sort of like him, mostly like him, but like kind of anime. This one I think looks a lot like Percy. The watercolor one, I think it turned out really cute. And then the doodle pen one. And yeah, sorry for the explosion of Percy art, and it's out of left field, but thank you for watching. Bye. Go watch the show.